impressed you are still alive. Such a long day. Okay, so I think there are a few things to know about nutrition in the ICU. One is you should always test early enteral nutrition working. You should test that for maybe 4 days. Second, whenever possible, measure an energy target, not predict, measure an energy target. Come back on this. Then once you have done that, you should really monitor what you are doing. So it's not only doing it right at the beginning and then it's done forever. Consider your decision. There are a number of cases where there is a failure of early enteral nutrition. You have tried your best, but it doesn't work. So you should then consider parenteral nutrition. Only one of the new things we have developed the last 4 or 5 years. Well, most important message, energy is vital. Basically, we have two sources. One is endogenous substrate. We actually eat our own body. Second is nutrition support. Now, to make sure you understand the proportion of it, this work we have done about 10 years ago, 20 years ago. We have looked at the result of 3 days of complete starvation in mechanically ventilated patients, found by measuring the energy need that the average for the day was 1,800 calories. Now, as they were starving, they need oxidized glucose, generate 500 calories. They need oxidized fat, generate about 800 calories, as well as protein. Altogether, when they've done that, they have utilized every day 120 grams of protein. As you know, a human body, 100 grams of protein correspond to about 500 grams of muscle. So when you don't feed, the only way to survive for the patient is to eat more or less 500 grams of muscle per day. And we're not here talking about extreme situation like 80 or 90% total body surface area of burn. We're talking about standard patient. So it's not a good idea to starve the patient. Now this work has been released recently. Look from time of admission into the ICU for 10 days. Look scale from 0 to 30% the amount of muscle mass that more or less patients are using % of their muscle mass first week in the ICU. Now you may say, well, probably acceptable. Maybe for a 45-year man having a lot of mass, taking 20% is probably acceptable. We're not talking about older patients or those with chronic disease. Wonder how they can use so much. So the message is, the more chronic it is before the ICU, the older the patient, the quicker you start. In fact, the energy deficit, the bigger it is, more complication you are going to observe. This work published by Darren Ayland, about 2,700 patients, many different countries, observed that the average nutrition received by patients per day was 1,000 calories. Everybody in this room getting 1,000 calories a day will lose body weight. Slimming diet. Obviously, is the wrong action in ICU patient. In fact, years ago was this study showing that the survival time for half a year from the admission into the ICU, depending on how the patient are receiving nutrition. Those having received more than 80% of their need had the best survival compared to those having much less energy, much lower survival. So the message is pretty simple. Too little energy received by your patient equals danger, equals more complication. But please don't remember my talk as a talk pushing you to give a lot of energy, because we have learned that too much energy or overfeeding is dangerous. This work can observe that if patients are receiving up to 25 calories per day, or at the extreme right-hand side, more than 40 calories per gram a day, the number of bloodstream infection going up. So too much energy, not the right thing. Actually, if I would have to prefer too little energy or too much, I would go for, but I'm not here tonight to tell you to underfeed the patient. So too much energy. Now you may say, well, if conflicting information, because there are many studies, conclusions are sometimes different. One of the big problems we have in the ICU that we are facing a highly heterogeneous population, from a very small patient, very old one. Therefore, sometimes it's difficult to decide what is best timing, best truth, what kind of macro and micronutrients. So let me try to help you finding the best thing. What are the needs? Well, we have guidelines, and the guidelines says during the acute phase, more or less 3-4 days, you should aim 20 to 25 calories per body weight per day. Remember, for overweight or obese patients, use an ideal body weight or standard weight. After 3-4 days, increase 25 to 30 calories. This is general guideline. Now, with regard to the adequate timing, we have the Canadian and American Society saying maybe we can wait up to 7 to 10 days by parenteral nutrition case enteral. When European Society of Nutrition says after days, if enteral does not work, then consider adding parenteral. So as you see, from both sides of the ocean, we have quite a difference. I think we should have a different eyes on this. here. So last year, well, actually a few months ago, we put a number of people in a room and we have tried to create a consensus about the timing. So you have days in the ICU from the admission. You can measure every day the total energy expenditure. Up, then after about 3 days, it starts to go down. During this period, I already told you, there is endogenous production of energy by eating your own body. So the idea, we have endogenous, one, plus exogenous, one you prescribe to your being no more than total energy expenditure, because you don't want to overfeed. This is why we advise you to go for early enteral nutrition, try to increase every day. And if by day 3 or 4 you are below the total energy expenditure, then add parenteral nutrition on top. So timely feeding, doing the thing in the right time, very important for you and for your patient. I really believe this is a critical period where you should pay most attention. Beginning, you cannot do anything against the fact that the body is partially using own reserve. But here, when the body starts to use less own reserve, is when you should consider prescribing nutrition very seriously. Now, the route of feeding, I'm very much in favor of enteral nutrition. I like to use the gut because the gut is just a normal way to be fed. For the reason I just shared with you before, we should follow the guidelines. It's early enteral nutrition within 48 hours after admission, the majority of the patients. Let's do that. But please remember, do survey, you realize that for a number of problems, mechanical problems, investigations, airway management, digestive tolerance, quite often you stop or decrease enteral nutrition. So day after day, you create an energy deficit. Now, ladies and gentlemen, last year, for the first time, we have had a study showing that, in fact, using parenteral nutrition is quite interesting. This was his work published in the New England. It was about 2,400 patients. They have received either enteral or parenteral. No reason to give one or the other. And when looking at survival by day 90, 3 months, there was strictly no difference. So for the first time, it was shown either enteral or parenteral does not change the survival. I was trained with the information that parenteral nutrition creates infection. Look at these results. There was strictly no difference whatsoever the infection. Chest infection, placenta infection, bloodstream infection, and so on, between parenteral or enteral group, 1,400 patients. This idea that parenteral nutrition generates infections past, no more true. But it's not because we have this study that you should give parenteral nutrition to all of your patients. Keep using the simple strategy, enteral. If it doesn't work, go parenteral. Now, just a few comments about prediction of energy need. Well, first of all, this work, patient on mechanical ventilation, using predictive equation to the right value only 1/3 of the patients. Out of 10 patients, you are right only 3 times. 7 times you are wrong, meaning that you are going to overfeed, underfeed. In fact, work we have done a few years ago, we have tried to do exactly what I'm advising you to do. That is, patient arrive in the ICU, try enteral nutrition. On day 3, measure your direct calorie energy need. Patients are randomized to continued on enteral nutrition only, or receive on top parenteral nutrition, reach 100 of their measured needs. Then we follow them. And the result was so. We have reduced by 1/3 the number of nosocomial infections in ICU. So if you use parenteral nutrition in case of failure of enteral, you massively decrease the number of ear infections. Message. If the work is done only partially by enteral, like this deep is partially, then consider. During the last 2.5 years, we have developed this instrument. This is a portable direct calorimeter. Well, to make it simple, we have spent an enormous amount of work, tested in here, and we found that we have developed an extraordinarily accurate instrument. This is our instrument, this is mass spectrometry. You see for O2 mixture going up to 80%, like 80% of oxygen enriched, or in case of different CO2 mixture measurement. So this device is going to be on the market next July. Accuracy is very high. The measurement takes below 10 minutes. Below 10 minutes. In the past it was more, an hour and a half. Battery operated. It's going to be sold at a cost of about 11,000 euros. So I hope that instead of predicting energy, going to be measuring energy. Make a comment about combination of energy need, protein need. As I said, ideally you should measure whenever possible energy need. You should prescribe protein up to 1.3, 1.5 gram per gram body weight a day. Why is that so? Because in this study, they've shown that look at the ICU day percentage of survival, patient same level of energy giving more protein, medium amount of protein, low protein, those with high protein, much better survival. So try to make sure if energy needs are covered, you have the right amount of protein. Now some people say, well, more protein is dangerous. Let me show you that it's not true. Well, in this work by our Australian colleagues, they have added about 470 patients, either standard nutrition, normal amount of nutrition, or an additional of 100 grams of IV amino acids. They have done it for the entire ICU. what they found, but if you look filtration, air filtration, there was no difference, very little, not significant difference between standard care, those having acid, big amount of extra protein, no impact on function. So again, traditional thoughts that more protein dangerous for the kidney has not been proven true. Now, it's almost the end. It's good to do nutrition in the ICU, but ideally we should be able to have our patient having activated muscle. And we are trying our best. We are trying our best to start to mobilize the patient as soon as it is possible. And to be honest, it's very, very difficult. It takes a lot of people to help. It takes a lot of time. Frankly, I think we should set a strategy. I don't know which one. We have tried to use electrical stimulation, favor muscle activity, but it turned out not to. The last point, ladies and gentlemen, is about diarrhea. Well, we studied the relationship between enteral nutrition and appearance of diarrhea. We found in a number of patients, enteral nutrition per se, not a risk factor for diarrhea. But if you push up the amount of enteral nutrition higher than 60% of the energy, you almost double the risk of doping. So for a physician, maybe diarrhea is not a big issue, but for the nurse, it's a big issue. I think consider parenteral nutrition whenever you have diarrhea appearing. That means you may reduce enteral nutrition a bit, then cover the energy need, add. Now you may say, well, wait a minute. Enteral plus parenteral is more expensive. Okay, so we studied. By the way, this is a Swiss dog sniffing money at the Geneva airport. And we found that for the nurses, diarrhea is one of the most painful aspects of the work. 70%. We also found that the cost to manage liquids per liquid take a lot of time from the nurses, which has a real cost. And published months ago that if you add parenteral nutrition on top of enteral nutrition sales, actually instead of spending more money, you can even save some money. 3,000 Swiss francs is about $1,000 per patient for the ICU, because you reduce the number of infections, mostly for these reasons. Computer is becoming tired. So where are we going? By the way, this is Switzerland with a guy sharing how to walk, what are the directions. Well, nowadays, I think it's fair to say that we became quite good in terms of oxygen, hydration, electrolytes management, which are important for anabolism. Analgesia became quite satisfactory for most patients already discussed this issue. We already have learned that using hormones in the ICU is not really efficient. Physical activity, very difficult to organize. Maybe the next step is going to manipulation of microbiota. Let me briefly comment. I put this dog here to tell you that what I'm going to say is not proven, an idea that I have. The idea is the following. When the patient comes into the ICU, we could be interested in doing a massive load of bacteria, not give some microbiotes, but really give a massive amount of favorable bacteria for and give enteral nutrition feed, not to feed the patient, but feed the microbiota. We know the microbiota is the cause of inflammation, cause of infection. So instead of saying this is not important, we focus on feeding the microbiota, and then use IV, parenteral nutrition, to feed the patient. I have no proof to state that. But I think conceptually might be of interest for the future. Okay, so with that, I think I'm going to conclude. If you don't feed the patient the ICU, I think you are creating survivors, you are victims. Remember, they will lose 0.5 kilogram of muscle as doctors, not create victims. To avoid that, whenever possible, try to measure energy expenditure. Try to meet the recommended protein target 1.3 and over, up to 1.5 grams. In case of failure of enteral nutrition, don't hesitate to add parenteral. Please monitor what you are. Now you may say, well, this guy from Switzerland has funny ideas. Remember something important. Mother Nature has fed you parenterally through the blood cord as well as enterally. Why don't you do the same for your patient? Enteral only does not work. Thank you.